Hi, welcome to the Success Portal with me, Dr. Franklin, life strategist. Today, I want to speak to you about a subject entitled Life is Nobody's Game. And some of you who've been following me on this channel may be wondering as to how do I actually get the titles of my videos and how do I come up with the content that I release on the channel, and how these videos come up and the content that I get. Obviously, it comes through life experiences. It comes through things that I experience on a day-to-day basis as I interact with people, things that I read on the internet, books that I've read. And most of the time it comes through my time of reflection and meditation. And that's how I get these videos and the content in these videos. And some of you who've been following me have noted that I like to use allegories, and I try to relate my content to things that happen in life or some events that are taking place on a global scale as a means of communicating my message. So with the things that are taking place all over the world, one thing I have noted in the past 10 to 20 years is that the playing field is being leveled. There are still issues within different countries and different population groups. We know that there are certain population groups that have been marginalized, people who have been undermined because of their skin color, their ethnic background, people who have been undermined because of their gender or their nationality. But with the many things that are beginning to take place all over the world with the internet and free access to information, a lot of these forms of segregation or disadvantages are beginning to lose their hold as the playing field is being leveled. For example, you being able to access this video on YouTube is amazing, and you being able to gain access to the experience that I have and the knowledge that I have, and I'm sharing this content free of charge, shows you, and it is a testimony that the playing field is being leveled. So what actually led me to think of this video and actually come up with this title was when I was traveling, and I have been traveling quite a bit towards the end of the year. And one of the things I started noticing is the changes that are taking place in the aviation landscape, and more especially in the country that I'm in, that is South Africa. Post-COVID, we started noticing that airlines started closing down. And for example, in our country, we had an airline called Mango, which was affiliated to the government, and also partly there was an investment from the private sector. It closed down. There was another airline that was also connected to British Airways. I think the name was Kulula. It also shut down. It's no longer running. And there was another airline as well, which was connected to the government, and it also unfortunately had to shut down, and many people lost their jobs. And as a result of that, it meant that there were less airlines that were operating in the country. So air ticket prices skyrocketed. So you could find a route where the price was like maybe 1,000 rands or just under that, and then now it was 2,500 or even 3,000. And even during the festive season, tickets were inflated like almost 5 times because of the high demand. And there is one airline, which is the national carrier, which has been under the spotlight for the last couple of years because of issues to do with maladministration, embezzlement of funds, and also this thing that they call state capture, where a few individuals have taken over parastatals and put in have had a hand in those parastatals, and there has been elements of nepotism and corruption taking place behind closed doors. And as a result of that, many of these state-owned entities have begun to suffer liquidation, and many people have lost their jobs. And in particular, our national carrier of the country that I'm in, South African Airways, had a very bad experience whereby it lost certain routes because of the time of COVID, and also because of maladministration. Some of the planes that the airline had were no longer running, and they were repossessed, and it meant that there were less routes that the airline could cover. And looking back at this airline, it's been amazing. I mean, when it came to traveling, even locally or outside the country, I mean, I have always favored South African Airways as being one of the best airlines in Africa, and the service is great. Like, it's really awesome. Like, when you're traveling even within the country, it was a step ahead of the rest of other airline companies within the country. But the way things are now, and I was devastated once when I was going into the plane, and I could see that the plane was not as clean as it was previously before, and things were broken within the plane, and it was quite disconcerting. And 5 years back, if anyone said that this airline would not be profitable and it would show elements of not running well and even be at the edge of going under, people would have said that that is a lie, because it had so much, a lot of government backing, and things looked great. But while this was happening, there were other airlines that were, one could say, they are underdogs. And for example, SA Airlink and FlySafe Air, which are the two airlines that have been coming up in the country, and they have been consistent throughout the years. And I just want to say a big disclaimer: I'm not here to advertise these airlines, and I'm not saying one should use them, but this is just my observation and the things that I derived by observing these airlines, and the lessons that I got by observing these airlines. And you can go and check up these airlines on the internet and look them up on Wikipedia, look them up on Google. They have been doing very well, and they have been quite profitable, and they're expanding. But throughout the years, one secret they've had is they have been consistent, they have been persistent, and they have been continuing. And as I speak, I was surprised that FlySafe Air had more than 10 flights from Johannesburg to Cape Town. Like, that is absolutely amazing. I was so shocked while sitting at the airport in Cape Town and seeing all these FlySafe Air planes coming in, landing, taking off every hour, like literally every hour. And I'm like, how do they do it? But the lesson that I derive from this is that life is nobody's game. You could think that somebody is ahead of you in life and they're doing well, and think that what you are doing is not significant, and think that what you are doing is not making any difference. And you will be surprised in life that some of the people that you're looking up to actually may not seem to succeed the way that you thought in your mind they were succeeding. And your urge or your drive to continue and to persist and to be committed and to be disciplined will pay off in the future. And I learned from this allegory of the airlines is that life is nobody's game. And when other people who begin to relax and other people are not committed, what will happen is, in this race and in this game, somebody else will go ahead. And that also takes me back to the myth, and I shared this once before, between the tortoise and the hare. And many of you have probably come across this in primary school and somewhere where they told you the story about the tortoise and the hare, whereby the tortoise was slow and steady, not stopping, was consistent, but the hare, because the hare was faster, kept going forward and running and going ahead. But because he was so quick and he was comparing himself to the tortoise, he would take breaks and rest. But eventually what happened is that because the tortoise was slow and steady, he eventually overtook the hare, and in that race, the tortoise was the one that won the race. Why? Not because he was faster, not because he had strong muscles, not because he had everything all together, but because he was consistent, he was persistent, he was disciplined, and at the end of the day, he won the prize. So this is the moral of all of this, and this is the take-home message from what I am saying today is life is nobody's game. As long as you are consistent, persistent, you have got a drive, and you are disciplined, you can achieve your desired goal. You can actually get to the top. And the perfect example is the airline industry. And these airlines that I have spoken of, they are excelling. They are literally taking over, and they are doing new things. The last thing, as I said, I'm not trying to advertise FlySafe Air, but I was so impressed by the fact that they developed a system whereby one can actually be able to check in through a WhatsApp message. And I think that is very innovative. I have not yet seen an airline that has done that before. I literally check into my flight on WhatsApp. They send me a message and I press the button just to say I'm going to check in, and they ask me a series of questions and I answer all of those. And even when you get to the airport, they send you another WhatsApp message to tell you exactly where to collect your baggage, on which carousel, and at the end, they then ask you for feedback of the flight and your experience. So I found that absolutely amazing. And also what I noted is that on the WhatsApp, you can actually chat to them. So initially there will be a bot that will chat to you just to try and sort out your problems. But if you're not happy, then they connect you to a consultant, and you can have a live chat with the consultant who can advise you and give you more tips. So what I'm trying to say is that in all, life is nobody's game. And as long as you're consistent, persistent, innovative, you think out of the box, don't ever measure yourself by other people. Don't ever compare yourself to other people. If you have any ideas that are unique, don't be afraid to express them. Don't be afraid to follow your dream. You will be surprised that idea that you're looking down on, or that idea that you think is stupid, that idea that you think other people will laugh at, that might be the idea that might potentially change your life forever and set you on the trajectory that leads to success. And that is one of the reasons why I continue to give out these videos, because I know 100%, I know somebody is getting value from what I am doing. And I know this is not my end. I am going for something bigger. It's only a matter of time. And also for you, you are going to get to something bigger. You're going to achieve something great as long as you remain consistent, persistent, motivated, disciplined, and you continue to think and see yourself succeeding, and you continue to look to the future. You will definitely achieve great things in this life. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Dr. Franklin, life strategist on the Success Portal. Till next time, goodbye.